Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the first official Wrestle Watch post show of 2026, the WWE PLE post show here at BC WrestlePod. My name is Mikey. I am El Jefe of BC WrestlePod. And as you can see, it's just me this evening as I will be taking on the ginormous task of breaking down Elimination Chamber 2026, which of course took place over in Chicago, Illinois this past Saturday.
Speaking of late over,
Welcome, Kilts. I wasn't sure if anyone was gonna make it, but hey, you know what? You're here, and that's all that matters.
I forgot what time it was.
It's okay.
No,
That
like I
is
saw your text, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'll be there. And then I'm like, I'm just gonna play Pokemon while I wait for a friend of mine to start streaming. And he started streaming like 4 minutes ago, and then I'm like, man, I'm kind of getting bored of watching him. Let me see who else is. Oh fuck!
this is
Whoopsies.
what it's all good. Don't worry about it. I'm happy that you are here, and that is the most important thing.
Yeah.
So me and you, we're gonna talk about Elimination Chamber because we did a watch along with our friends Matt and Sean, and we also had Nick and his lovely wife Nikki pop in for the women's Elimination Chamber,
Oh, that
and
reminds me.
we all have we collectively have some thoughts about Elimination Chamber as this is the final pay per view until WrestleMania for WWE. So we're gonna talk about all the things that happened in Chicago for this one.
It was a lot.
It was, and we're definitely going to break it all down here tonight. But before we do, to kind of get us through the housekeeping portion of our show, Twitch, Kick, and YouTube is our three main sources where you can catch us live. YouTube also houses our edited reviews where we condense the lives into more manageable episodes. So you can watch those if you're looking to save on time, or you can watch everything in its original high def glory that you see now in the live. But that is where you can find everything. If you're looking for something more self contained, we are on probably your favorite social media site at BC WrestlePod. And over there, you can see out of context clips of our shows where we talk about some important points, which is very, very crucial to our conversations. We also do the report cards and we preview the television shows that happen every week. As soon as we're done here, I'm going to hop on to watch a Monday Night Raw to see how that all goes down now that we are post Elimination Chamber and 7 weeks of just me probably scratching my head and banging my head against the wall. But you know what? That is for another time and another conversation. We also have some merchandise,
Merchandise.
which is
Mine
very,
comes
very
tomorrow.
fun. And later tonight, I will be dropping our special merch just in time for International Women's Month. So
Woo.
that's going to be fun. So there's going to be a limited edition shirt that will run all the way to the end of March to help raise awareness and to support a cause. More info on that tomorrow night during our AEW review. But just know that that design is coming up very soon. We also have a brand new team debuting next Thursday and a new design for all of that. So stay tuned for all of that. But you can find all that merch at bcwrestlepodshop.fourthwall.com. I will be plugging in the links as we go along with our show tonight. And then last but certainly not least, we pay for a lot of streaming services. And thankfully, it is still manageable, but any help will always be welcome. So, ever so often in Twitch and YouTube, our coffee bot, the friendo, will be popping in there. And if you feel obligated to donate, please do. And please do not dangle carrots in front of us. Either do or do not. Like Yoda said, there is no try.
I will ban a person real quick, as it was evident on freaking
Saturday, man. I was
Saturday.
like,
I was
nope.
heated.
You were Kilt was our heated angel of the night, and it was fantastic, and we love to see it. But no, we will put the ban hammer down. So please be nice. Like we're trying to give you guys something fun, and just don't be a tool about it. Alrighty. Now that that's out of the way, Kilt, let's talk about Elimination Chamber because this was a 4-match card with also a debut segment. So we got 5 things to talk about. So let's kick things off, and we're going to start off with what kicked off the show promptly, which was the Women's Elimination Chamber. So the women's elimination chamber was to determine the number one contender to see who would go on to WrestleMania to face Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's World Championship. And so in this year's women's elimination chamber, we had Kiana James, Asuka, Raquel Rodriguez, Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, and Tiffany Stratton vying for that number one contendership position. I'm gonna be completely honest. I think this was probably my favorite match of the entire night, but I always say this anytime we have Elimination Chamber in the most recent years that the women's chamber always ends up being more fun than the men's chamber. Now, the men's chamber this year definitely had a lot more story payoffs, but in terms of action, I think the women definitely had more to it, and I had more fun watching them than I did the men. But let's talk about it, shall we? Because first of all, I have to point out, I have to say that Raquel and Tiffany probably had my favorite outfits of the night. Their ring gear was really, really cool, especially Tiffany's going with something different with the monarch butterfly aesthetic. I really did like that.
Yeah, that was actually
And
pretty cool.
and then I also, of course, love Raquel Rodriguez and like that gaudy animal print, but she made it work and it was so much fun. Oscar always looks great. Rhea looks great. I loved Alexa's new color scheme. And Kiana James, your purse was everything, girl. I love how she carries the big old purse everywhere she goes in her entrance.
I saw that. I was like, why are you carrying a big ass purse that's probably empty to an elimination chamber match? If that's you, that's you. All right, cool. Make it so
Also,
number one.
right? And if anything, if it was a Jada Parker, she'd just pull out a brick out that purse and start hitting people with it.
Don't tempt me with Miss Parker. I love her. I love her. I can't wait for her to get back in the ring. Speaking of NXT, I did not get an email saying that I got selected for Saturday's Backlash.
Dang, you won't be going to Vengeance Day. That's unfortunate.
That's what I meant. Vengeance Day, not Backlash.
I was like, Backlash is in May for
Yeah,
main roster.
I can go. I'm not going to pay for that, but I could if I wanted to.
You could, but you're not. I'm just kidding.
I'm cheap as shit.
I know,
I
me
want to
too.
get down in front so that way you all can see my ugly ass. Be like, look, it's me. I'm on TV somewhere else besides NXT.
We'd love to see it. So let's talk about the women's elimination chamber because again, I thought there was a lot of fun spots. I love Raquel taking Tiffany and running her through the chamber pod, which was really, really cool. As I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be honest. I think Raquel probably looks the strongest coming out of this. Now, of course, spoiler alert, Rhea wins the chamber and she does end up being the number one contender. But in terms of spots, I think that for me personally, I think Raquel had probably the best showing. She also had the most elimination chamber.
Raquel did a lot. I loved everything about it. I really wish she did win, or at least it was her versus Rhea at the end, but not Tiffany.
Right.
Seeing the Tiffany Jade fight, it's not necessary. It was kind of boring. It'd be kind of boring, but then again, everything about Jade's reign so far has been boring because she hasn't been there.
Now, I blame WWE for that one. I was just like, y'all have not let this woman defend this title, and I don't know what we're waiting on. So I don't blame Jade for this one. I blame WWE and creative. Why are you not letting Jade? And not even like if you're not going to have her defend the title, at least give her some tune-up matches. I don't understand what we're doing.
Like, give her something. Like, there's no story. There's no story here. It's so weak.
And yeah, go ahead.
It's okay, cool. We get to see Rhea and Jade go head to head, which is great. I love to see two powerhouses just go off the wall, which is why I wanted Rhea and Raquel to go in toe to toe at the end of Elimination Chamber because I thought that would be a great match for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
But there, like, Jade pops up maybe once a month, maybe once every other month. Like, how long has she had the title for, and how many times has she been on TV?
A lot. I don't know. I don't know what WWE is doing here with Jade, but that's besides the point. So, talking about the women's elimination chamber, I'm going to be honest. I was kind of bummed to see Alexa go out first. And so, of course, goes out via the way of the mist. So she's blinded, which then allows, to be capitalized on for her to get eliminated. Then Raquel ends up eliminating Kiana and Asuka at the same time. So she gets double elimination there. Then we get some back and forth action. And then unfortunately, Raquel gets eliminated, leaving Tiffany and Rhea. But Rhea is able to, hit the Riptide for the win. And so the winner of the women's elimination chamber and therefore facing Jade at WrestleMania is going to be Rhea Ripley. Now, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And someone on the internet pointed out that this is going to be Rhea Ripley's 7th consecutive straight WrestleMania where she is going to face a championship of some sort. So this is this WrestleMania coming up will be her 7th consecutive WrestleMania appearance, and she is going for a championship. And I'm going to be completely honest, Kilt, unless they do some story builds, I think this is our night 1 main event.
Yeah, probably.
Because
I'm figuring, depending on how many matches they want to throw at it, like obviously they have all 4 the champ of the top tier, of the main card championships to play with. They'll probably have AJ Lee do something, maybe like a Becky Lynch thing, because Letitia Lynch, as the phrase has been coined for her, they may have the U.S. title go at it.
So yeah, we'll talk more about what we can see for the mid card matches for Mania, because we have, like you said, we have our main 4 championship matches set, and then we can talk about what we like to see for Mania, because like last year we had the same position. We had our 4 top contender matches, and then they struggled to build anything else for Mania last year, which we'll talk about when we get there. We'll talk about it at the end. So Rhea Ripley wins. This is her 2nd time winning the chamber, and she will be facing Jade at WrestleMania this year. So good on Rhea. Can't wait. It was also announced that Rhea and Io are no longer going to be tagging together for the foreseeable future, so they are going their own separate ways, which is very unfortunate. But you know what? It is what it is. So it was fun watching Rhea and Io be tag team champions. So let's move on. So we're going to talk about our second match of the evening, which was for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. So this has been an interesting feud so far, as we see Becky Lynch, the current the IC Women's Champion, and she's taking on the challenger of AJ Lee. Now, this has been a really long-term feud, and it has been a lot of on and off again, because this technically all started since WrestlePalooza, in which AJ Lee made Becky tap out at WrestlePalooza. Then, twice. Well, I'm getting there. So the first time was at WrestlePalooza, and then the second time is AJ Lee made Becky tap out at War Games in November. And now here we are, where she has made Becky tap out twice. And so AJ is getting this match against Becky because, tapped her out twice. In between all that, though, because AJ is part-time, Becky has been feuding with Maxine, and Natty's also been kind of swarming around in there. And then for Elimination Chamber, like 2 weeks before, Becky and AJ match was set for this one. I'm going to get on my soapbox here in a little bit, because, again, when we're looking at all of our most of our main title matches, I'm just like, why do we always rely on part-time talent to start making stories and not anybody else on this roster? But I digress. I know I have seen some people give this match some grief. I feel like people are a little too hard on AJ, in my personal opinion. I mean, it's been about 10 years since she's wrestled. And if you are that long away from the ring and you haven't wrestled in that long, honestly, Becky Lynch is the perfect choice. She is a woman's woman. She is a woman's wrestlers. And you know what? Becky is a really good person to wrestle against. And I thought AJ and Becky did they did some decent stuff here. I don't think this was a 5-star classic, but I also do not believe that this match was as bad as a lot of people are making it out to be. Because there was one match on here that I felt was a lot worse than this one. I will say though that the ending was kind of a little abrupt because it seemed that AJ couldn't get the Widow's Peak all the way in. And so Becky was trying to push her to get her all the way locked in. And so they just had to call it where it was. I have a conspiracy theory. I don't think that Becky and AJ knew who was going to win this match until they both were going out there for this match, because the way that it kind of was overbooked to the last like 6 minutes of this match was very telling. They're like, okay, now we just got to get to the ending. And it was kind of a little thrown together hodgepodge, if you will. Am I upset that AJ Lee won? No, not necessarily. Am I surprised she won here? Honestly, yeah. I knew they were either going to have AJ win here or they were going to have her win at Mania. And Kilt, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong in this, but I kind of believe that AJ should have waited until Mania to win this championship over Becky. Because now with Becky not having the championship, she's gonna go on a crash out. But then where does that leave AJ Lee? Is she gonna defend it between now and Mania? Is she just gonna like pull a Roman Reigns and show up ever so often and not be here every single week? But I'm happy for AJ. I feel that to me, I feel like they should have waited. But Kilt, I would like to hear your take about the match and your take of whether Elimination Chamber or Mania was the better spot to have AJ win the title.
Well, as we sit and look at this, one of the things I think is the best option here. Sorry, I got distracted by a conversation.
Nick is in the chat. Hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
So, of course, the question that we're asking now, Nick, more fans for AJ in Chicago or Vegas is the question.
It's going to be Chicago. It was better for AJ to win here than at WrestleMania, because it could potentially be an upset. There could potentially be her stepping away, retiring again, or whatever. I don't know what her contract length is, and I don't know what her contract details are, obviously, because, who am I to know? But I think the best option, or not best option, but the best way to really go about this was here in Chicago, because then you got the wrestling champ spouse, because at this time we didn't know if Seth Rollins was coming back at all, or when he would be back, or if he was back, or what his status was. So having AJ Lee have the IC title and CM Punk have his title at the same time, it's like, oh look, we have a wrestling couple that have titles, yay! And then that's basically it. Yeah, as Nick says, then if it's Chicago, then oops. We have to stop clicking at the same time.
You click it. There you go.
So then, if it's he said, so if she has more fans in Chicago, then the right move is to give AJ the belt in Chicago, which it was the right move. Now they just have time to figure out if they're going to do anything at Mania, which who knows what they'll do at Mania. I couldn't tell you. I haven't seen anything. Although I do want to go watch Raw, but I'm probably, after we're done here, I'm probably going to go shower and go to sleep, because I want to get to bed early, because I have a half day tomorrow, so I can prepare for NXT,
which is the go home before Vengeance Day, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited.
I'm so happy you're excited. So again, I am not mad that AJ is champion. I personally would have liked to see her win at Mania. Now, again, in the next 7 weeks, how do we build up to the rematch? Are we even going to see the rematch at Mania? Are we going to have it happen on the road? is this going to turn into a fatal four-way? Because we still got some unanswered questions with Natty and with Maxine as well. So I don't want it to be a fatal four-way. I'm pretty sure we'll get the rematch at Mania, but we'll see. WWE has 7 weeks, and if they don't feel like this is a compelling story, they might not put it on the card. But we'll talk about our Mania hopes and dreams and worries at the end of the show. All right, Kilt, I'm just gonna rip the band-aid off. For this next one, I was not the biggest fan of this match. I did not like this match per se. Um, I am not a Punk hater like our good friend Sean. Um, I just have lots of questions because, spoiler alert, Punk beats Finn clean here to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. And again, I figure Punk wasn't going to lose whatsoever. However, there are numerous ways that they can pivot because I think Finn versus Dom is still a viable feud heading into WrestleMania. But because there was no Judgment Day, no Dominic interference, no Judgment Day appearance whatsoever in the middle of this match, um, I have questions as to where Finn's journey to Mania is going, if Finn is even going to be at Mania. And I have to be completely honest, Kilt. I think the match that these two had for the championship in Belfast was a lot better paced than this one. I feel that this was a lot more slower than that one. And I feel that, again, I feel like maybe it's just me, but I felt like Finn had to really pull some punches here and kind of slow himself down in order to allow Punk to keep the pace that was. I felt like I was watching this match in slow mo.
We mentioned it so as much in during the stream, but it was a slog to get through because I think I'm just assuming, I'm just making up potentialities. I think maybe sorry, maybe just maybe CM Punk might be like slightly injured or something, and that's why they were taking it slow, or that they like went under time on one of the matches and they had to like slow down and like extend everything. But it literally looked almost physically painful for Finn to slow down that much. Um, I honestly I don't know how they did it. I just know that they did it, and I feel really bad for them. It was so boring. Like, how are you? Okay, I could understand if Finn had won in Belfast. Why were you going to make this a second time round for a match in Chicago? What? Literally, this just weakens Finn's position. This felt like it was a slow match for no reason, and it was a squash match for Finn. Like, we're just going to squash Finn and anything else, and that's it. Now, granted, yeah, you can turn this into fucking material for the breakup of Judgment Day, but like, it was not necessary. I don't need to see Finn Balor, who's an amazing wrestler, go through fucking 2 matches and lose both of them for that title. Mm-hmm. That was unnecessary, and that was demoralizing. I felt like, how are you gonna make him lose twice? That's stupid.
Well, here's my biggest issue with it, right? So I figured that Finn was not going to win because they're not going to take the title off of Punk, and I feel like Chicago would have rioted if Punk lost the title in his hometown, right? But my biggest issue with this is, like I was saying, because if the plan is still for Finn and Dominic to go head to head at WrestleMania, you could have set up the beginning stages of that feud, of that story here. Now they could still do it tonight on Raw, and they got 7 weeks to build up to that. So I'm not necessarily going to harp on it too much, but I don't like that Finn lost clean here. I also didn't like. I did appreciate the shaking of the hands because now it seems that we might be turning Finn face, or at least leaning towards that. Um, But I was just very disappointed with this match. I wasn't expecting it to be a barn burner by any means necessary, but it is going to be a slog between now and WrestleMania because now Punk has to carry this feud for 7 weeks because Roman Reigns is only going to be there for 4 dates leading into WrestleMania, mind you. And we did this last year too with the match. I was so frustrated with Roman Reigns and the Roman Reigns and the triple threat that we got at Mania. It was annoying as all heck guilt, and now we're back to doing it again. And I don't understand why WWE is continuing to do this. We are running it back. This time, Roman is going to be the challenger, but part time. He's only going to be there for 4 dates. So now I think I'm going to get some flack for this guilt, but I don't know if I have confidence that Punk is going to be able to carry this feud for the next 7 weeks by himself.
I don't think so either. Honestly, I don't even know what's going on with. Like, supposedly Roman's coming back tonight to do something, but we all know how part-time Roman is, and it's like, I understand if Roman has health issues that are or scheduling issues that are preventing him from being there. I understand that. I'm for making sure that guy is healthy. That dude's a cancer survivor. I'm for him being healthy and being sure that he should continue as the tribal chief, as the head of the table, but in a managerial role. That way he doesn't have to make as many appearances. He doesn't have to wrestle. He doesn't have to stay in peak shape outside of his own desire to do so. It gives him more leeway to not wrestle. And I think that would be better for him if he is in a physical position where he's not either cleared to wrestle, he's not physically comfortable with wrestling yet because that's in a gray area, or if it's just that he doesn't have the time for doing it for whatever reason. I don't know his reasonings. I don't know why he's such a part-timer. All I know is I see Roman Reigns once every PLE. Like, I'll see him at the PLE, before the PLE, or after the PLE, and that's it. And then rinse and repeat.
Yeah, it's really weird for sure. And again, like last year, we are having Roman only appear a certain amount of dates, which is 4 this time around, leading into a 7-week build. So at least he'll be there for the majority of the feud. But like, I hate it. I really, really do. So again, we're gonna see what Roman has to say tonight, and also what Punk is gonna have to say because Punk is also talking too. So we'll see how this all goes down. But not the biggest fan of this match. I don't like that Finn once again loses here cleanly, and who knows? Well, until I see it, Finn's road to WrestleMania is obscured in ambiguity, and I don't know where this goes. So, Kill, let's go from something that was not necessarily our favorite to us marking out, at least the two of us, for this man right here, because we get the debut of our very nice, very evil man, Mr. Danhausen. I don't care what nobody says. Yes, Danhausen. I love this.
Yes, Van Housen. I love everything about Van Housen. Give me some more Danhausen, please. Oh my God. This was great. I went back, because obviously it pops up on my FYP, and a lot of people for some reason, don't know who Danhausen is. And a lot of AEW people didn't know who Danhausen was. Now, granted, he's been injured, and he hasn't been on AEW TV for at least a year.
He has not been, even when he wasn't injured. So for some reason, AEW put this man on the shelf even when he wasn't injured, and I still don't understand that. And I love AEW down, but even Tony Khan, I don't understand that. But his contract was up. Tony let him go, and now he is here in the WWE.
His contract was about to expire, and Tony said, "No, you've been on injury, so I'm going to extend it." Extended it, and then he was like literally the days before this, he got released from AEW.
His
Now I
contract,
understand Tony
his
Khan trying to
contract
make sure he
expired.
keeps
Yeah,
his talent. Perfectly understandable. But why are you keeping someone you're not using? Why are you keeping someone that is not there? Like, if you don't have a space for him to return, or if he's not able to return to you for whatever reason, make sure he's healthy. Let him go.
Yeah,
like,
both companies do a really bad job at this, and this is what frustrates me. AEW has done this sometimes where, like, for example, right now you have Danhausen's no longer there. Chris Jericho, and I don't mind him not being on my screen, to be completely honest.
yeah.
But Britt Baker is also nowhere to be seen, and I haven't seen Nyla Rose on AEW television either. So if you have all this talent, and Tony does this, like, just let them go. Let them wrestle. If they want to leave, let them leave. It makes no sense to hold them and shelve them if you're not going to use them. And then on the flip side, WWE frustrates me too, because when people get released, very few do, but a lot of wrestlers have a non-compete clause for 30 days, 60 days. Like during the Vince McMahon days, we had like a 90-day no-compete clause when people got released, which was stupid.
I think it's like it's still 90 to like almost 6 months.
They pick and choose. Most of the stars that have gotten released recently over the last year or so, it's mostly been 30 days. It's not the Vince McMahon era where they have a 90-day non-compete, which is nuts. 3 months of no wrestling anywhere. You're just like, you're ruining people's financial income. Like, I don't understand. It's crazy out here.
It is ridiculous.
Both companies are at fault for doing this, but I love this. I love me some Danhausen. He has the jar of teeth, which is even an added touch of hilarity, which I love. I will say, though, this crowd was crazy because they booed. I was like, damn, y'all.
And the reason everybody's booing is because it's the expectation. They wanted Jericho, or they wanted this person, or they wanted that person. Like, y'all, you got Danhausen. You knew it was going to be Danhausen because he tweeted something about it. He like being free.
The fuck? I was like, damn, y'all. I was like, give this a chance. Everyone in the arena and everyone at home was already poo-pooing this before we got to see anything. Now, did I think this was a little bit of a lackluster? Not really. I personally enjoyed it, but that's because I know who Danhausen is. And the presentation is great. I just need people to give this a chance and need to be more open to more comedy-based characters. Not everything in wrestling needs to be so serious.
I agree. Like, I'm looking forward to the potentiality of like the True Thousand. Like I really want there to be an R-Truth and Danhausen segment. I'm so excited for that. Even if one's on Raw, the other's on SmackDown, there's got to be something fun going on. I need those two to interact. Like, this is Santino Morello level. Give me more bullshit.
Right.
I love Danhausen. This was okay. So let me go back to an earlier point I was trying to make. I was watching this again, and the one thing I didn't notice was immediately after this still, when he goes, a little poof. I didn't realize that because I was enjoying the moment so much, I didn't recognize that they gave that little pyro poof above the coffin. I noticed it when he was in the ring because he's like, yeah, big ending. That killed me.
Right.
That killed. And then they got under the ring.
Fantastic.
I saw footage from the show and from
Right.
the crowd, and everyone went under the ring. I'm like, why'd you go under the ring?
I was just like, is there an escape hatch we don't know about?
There probably is, but like, they went under and through a hatch, or they just sat under there for the entirety of the men's rumble, which
The
is like,
Elimination Chamber.
well, yeah, the men's chamber, whatever. Like, why?
Who knows? Or, because after that segment, we had like a 3-minute commercial break. So they might have exited during commercial too. Who knows? But Danhausen is here in WWE, and I am enthralled. I'm excited. Alrighty, Kilts. We get into the main event of Elimination Chamber, the men's Elimination Chamber. So this has had some changes leading into this event because the original lineup was Javon Evans, Trick Williams, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, and Jay Uso. Now, originally, Bronson Reed was supposed to be in the spot, but during the qualifying match on Monday Night Raw, he got hurt, and so Jay Uso ended up winning this match. Then on Friday Night SmackDown, we began with Jay Uso getting attacked and having to be taken away in an ambulance, which then prompted Nick Aldis to put a last-minute qualifying match together where Logan Paul would take on Jacob Fatu, and the winner would go on to take Jay's spot in the Elimination Chamber. Thanks to some interference from Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul would end up winning that match and get this spot in the Elimination Chamber. I think from a storyline perspective, I think that the men did a better job of giving us some story beats, though I will say that I felt like it was really overbooked at the very end because we got two things happening instead of just one. But I dare say I was a little disappointed with how this went because Javon had a really cool spot. And then he was out. Trick Williams, I feel like, didn't get to do too much, and I was a little disappointed. LA Knight flopped the move. That turnbuckle for both him and Finn, man, that turnbuckle was crazy that night.
Dude, yeah. Okay, hold on. I just saw a TikTok about this because they were comparing the botches. And I use this. LA Knight slipped.
Mm-hmm.
Logan Paul almost killed Javon.
There was that one. And then Finn slipped from it during his match, too, in the same place.
Yeah. So I can understand why LA slipped because that area must have been, it was just a little slippery, or just it wasn't wound right, or it wasn't tight enough or loose enough or whatever. They couldn't get their footing correct.
Mm-hmm.
But the conversation now is in the botch that Logan Paul did that almost killed Javon, or could have seriously injured Javon. Some people are saying, oh, well, Javon didn't rotate enough. Well, if you look, Logan rushed that move.
Mm-hmm.
And Javon tried to adjust during it, and because Logan was rushing, it didn't work. And he almost came down on his neck. Like, it was close, like, from the angles that you can see, but, like, and everyone's blaming Javon for it. I'm like, no.
It takes two to
tango. When you're in the air, there is only so much you can do. There is only so much rotation that you can do, so much, like, adjusting that you can make. When you are in the air, the person on the ground, the person landing the move is at fault. That is who is supposed to make sure that that everyone is safe. If I'm taking you up and I'm dropping you in a pile driver, or I'm giving you the last ride, I'm the one that needs to make sure you are in position, or at least in a safe enough position to land that move without serious injury. It is my job. In this case, it is Logan's job to make sure he took care of Javon and got that move down safely, regardless of where Javon was in his rotation or how, whatever. Logan is at fault. End story. That was a botch. LA Knight just slipped. And Triple H is just going to sit there and scream at him about it again, just like he did the last time he had a botch. supposedly, in that we saw on Unreal.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy. So to kind of run through it a little bit, as the Elimination Chamber went on, and we had some fun moments. Logan would end up getting 3 eliminations as he would eliminate Javon Evans, then Trick Williams, then LA Knight. And then we get our first run in because as the door to the Elimination Chamber is still open, we have a masked man come in or try to come in, but is very unsuccessful. They get unmasked, and as Kilt pointed out, it is one of the security guards from NXT, which was a lot of fun to see. But then, as the actual security and Adam Pearce and all of them are taking this person away, another masked figure slips in, gives Logan Paul a good old a sweet chin music and a curb stomp for his troubles, and then unmasks himself to be the one and only Seth Rollins. So Seth has returned, which I was just like, I don't know if he's still medically cleared yet, but apparently he's enough to get in there to do what he did. So then this would allow Logan Paul to get eliminated, which leaves Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton in there. But Kill, we didn't even get a moment to breathe from that reveal because then it comes running in Drew McIntyre, who then tries to hit Cody with the title. Cody ducks and is able to give Drew McIntyre a one up to get like a comeuppance, which then would allow Randy Orton to hit an RKO. Which then, as Cody comes back up, Randy hits the RKO for the win. And so your winner and going to face Drew McIntyre, at least as of right now, at WrestleMania is the Viper, Randy Orton. Now, I am happy to see Randy win because I did not want to see Cody Rhodes win this chamber. He doesn't need to win the chamber. But Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre is going to be our match for WrestleMania. Now, Kilt, let me ask you this question because the post show we have we have an interesting wrench in the plan of that being Drew and Randy Orton because Nick after the show, Nick Aldis and Drew McIntyre had some exchanging of words backstage, and Nick Aldis was ready to fight Drew. He's just like he was ready to throw fisticuffs. And so Nick Aldis appeared on the post show and made an announcement that he warned Drew to stay away, and he has this obsession with keeping Cody Rhodes down. So this Friday on SmackDown, Drew is going to defend the championship against Cody Rhodes. And I'm just sitting here, I'm like, oh my God, are they about to give this championship back to Cody? I'm like, no.
Honestly,
or I fear there's going to be shenanigans.
It's going to be a bigger fight and a bigger sell to have Cody versus Randy than it is Cody versus Randy versus Drew. Like maybe Drew will try and slide in and interfere at WrestleMania, but like I am getting really sick and tired of all the interference. Like I understand you're trying to push a storyline, you're trying to do this, you're trying to do that. Just the constant interference is getting to a point of okay, this is starting to get boring. It's predictable. It's like, oh, here comes the interference, and there it is.
It's frustrating for sure. And there are 2 paths that we could possibly see, right? So, there's 3 paths. One, Drew actually retains against Cody, and then it's just a one-on-one between Randy and Drew. Number 2, Cody wins, and this becomes Cody versus Randy. Rule number 3, we continue the interference train where Jacob Fatu shows up in some capacity, and then we possibly might turn this into a fatal 4-way at WrestleMania. Which, let's just get into our WrestleManias because I got beef with this Mania, Kilt, right? So we have our 4 championship matches set as of right now. I swear to everything that is good and bad in wrestling, Kilt, I do not want to see lots of multi-person matches at Mania for championships. I was just like,
the only multi-person match I want to see is tag teams. Give me a tag team on each corner. I don't want to see 3 tag teams. I don't want to see 4 tag teams. I want to see one-on-one tag team. I
Like a
don't
tag.
want to see more than 2 people in a singles match. I don't want to see 3 people. I don't want to see 4 on 4 and 4. What I want to see a tag team and a tag team for a title. I want to see a single and a single for whatever. I don't want to see Brock Lesnar at all.
Unfortunately, we are going to get him, and we're going to
Yeah,
talk
I
about
know,
that
but
in a little
still,
bit.
it's just I'm throwing
The
that.
only multi-person match that I want to see, if the rumor is to be true, is a 5-person ladder match for the United States Championship. Which, if you throw in the right people, which is going to probably be Mello, Trick, Sammy, Ray Phoenix, and Ilya, then I'm here for that match because those 5 will go ham. I would love to see that match go down. But other than that, I don't want to see lots of multi-person matches because then it's you didn't have enough confidence to build a mid-card feud. And so now we're trying to throw everybody and their mother in the kitchen sink on this card. So as of right now, Kilt, let's go over the matches we have for sure for Mania so far. So we have CM Punk versus Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship. We have Stephanie Vaquer versus Liv Morgan for the women's world championship. We have Rhea versus Jade for the WWE Women's Championship. Then we have Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton as of right now for the WWE Men's Championship. And then we have an open challenge match scheduled for Mania that Brock Lesnar has laid down. If Oba Femi does not answer the challenge, I don't want it at Mania. Oba Femi is the only person that needs to answer that challenge.
What about Omos, though?
Omos would be cool, but I think Oba needs to be it, honestly. Omos is currently also doing stuff in AAA at the moment, too. But to me, I feel like Oba needs to be the person, and Oba needs to win. If he loses to Brock Lesnar, I will be pissed. So there's that. Now, that is the top of your card, Kilt. And then once again, WWE has 7 weeks, and they're probably going to scramble to try to get the tag titles and the mid card championships, as well as any non-title matches on this card. So let me know what you think about these. So I'm hoping that we get a ladder match for the United States Championship because that'd be fun. I think it'd be great. Who do we get the rematch for Becky and AJ at Mania, or do we do it sooner on the road to Mania? Because that's always the thing, too. I think we're getting Io and Julia for the United States Championship, which honestly, that'd be banger. Now, again, I don't like lots of multi-person matches, but if we're going to do a multi-person, I want Julia, Io, Kairi, and Asuka in that match. Give me all the Japanese women's wrestling. That I would be here for.
The other thing I'm thinking is unless AAA does it first, there's going to be a mask versus mask. And it's going to be El Grande Americano versus El original El Grande Americano.
Right.
And it's so, I love the dichotomy that they have going with those two. Because one's a heel and one's a face in one promotion, and then they flip it in the other. I love it so much.
It's fantastic.
Anyway, it's so flawless. I love everything, and it's great because you have OG sitting here trying to pigeonhole his way through Spanish. And you have the current El Grande in perfect Spanish, it just going to town, and everybody on that side of the promote in AAA love him. He is amazing, and he's doing he's done a better job than the OG did when the OG was there, and I'm like, I love this bit. It's a great bit. Can we move on? Let's finish the bit. Let's Because this is the most they've. The speculation is that it's Ludwig Kaiser and Chad Gable. Got it. Cool. We got that out of the way. This
Right.
is the most they've used either two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like since they broke up the fucking whatchamacallit. I don't know. I always called it the Fifth Reich because it's fucking. It was
Imperium.
Gunther. The what?
Imperium.
Thank you. The Imperium, and they made Ludwig go do his own thing. He just kind of teetered off, and
And
then
this revitalized his character.
oh yeah, this revitalized him very much, especially after the breakup with Tiffany. Anywho,
Oof. Yes, man, that couple, they had it all, and then no more. But
no more.
yeah, but so there are a couple of things like we don't know what's going to happen with the men's tag. Well, we don't know what's going to happen with either tag team championships on
Mm-hmm.
on Raw and SmackDown. We don't know what's going to happen with the women's title, and depending on what happens tonight, will Dom and Finn be for the IC title at Mania? And who knows what else we got going on for Mania. So we got 7 weeks. We're going to find out how this all pans out. I don't believe that there is a Saturday night's main event this month, or at least leading into Mania. I don't think so.
I will
So
pull up the website. Hold on.
so Kilt is going to double check for me because it is 7 weeks. I wouldn't be so. I don't think they're gonna have a Saturday. I don't think they are planning to have a Saturday night's main event between now and Mania, but I could be wrong. So Kilt is gonna check that for me. What I do know though is if that is the case, then main roster is done having their time on in the eyes of the people with the pay-per-view stuff, and then it's NXT's turn because we got Vengeance Day coming up this Saturday. And then for the first time ever, like we talked about last week, Stand and Deliver is not going to be part of WrestleMania weekend. It is literally going to be standing on its own because it will be occurring at the beginning of the month. And then 2 weeks later is the WrestleMania. So NXT is not going to have Stand and Deliver a part of Mania weekend. So we're going to see how that all goes down. Anyways, Kilt, find anything?
So far, no, we have obviously we have Vengeance Day this weekend for NXT. Then we have Stand and Deliver in April.
And then 2 weeks later is Mania.
Yeah, we have Rey de Reyes
Or Triple A coming up soon too.
this month. No, we have no Saturday night main event. I think I'm not even seeing Saturday night main event between now and SummerSlam.
That's crazy.
I think they decided to go away with it.
We'll see what happens because WWE likes to do WWE things. So we'll see how that all goes down. But that is it for our Elimination Chamber post show. Overall, this was a okay show. Women's Chamber is my favorite. We did get a lot of story developments for the men's, but everything else ranged from decent to not necessarily the favorite. But hey, Kill, thanks for being here this evening and breaking it down with me. I also want to give you kudos and thank you for joining for the watch along we did on Saturday. And I also want to give shout out to our friends Nick, his wife Nikki, and Matt and Sean for also joining us on Saturday. And you know what? I look forward to the next time we all can get together and do some shenanigans.
You know what? One of the next times that Nikki, and us get together, it could be an NXT night.
It could be
because they could be here, and I could be like, "Oh my god, look at my best friends!"
Well, we'll see how this all goes down, but so let's just go over what's coming up this week for BC WrestlePod. So tomorrow night, the AEW crew will be reviewing Dynamite and Collision as we are inching ever so closer to the first pay per view of 2026 for AEW, which is going to be Revolution, coming to us live from Los Angeles in the Crypto.com arena, the formerly aptly named Staples Center. And of course, your boy is going to be there in person. So I'm excited. Then on Wednesday, we have our double reviews, our head to head, our double jam packed episode. First, we have at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern is our NXT show. Whereas it not only the go home show, but we will be doing our predictions for Vengeance Day. So far, we only had 3 matches announced. We might be getting some more at the end of tomorrow night. So we probably are. So we're going to see how that all goes down. And then at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, the CMLL crew will be here to review another episode of CMLL where we had a hair versus hair match for the main event, which was crazy to watch. And it was a lot of fun. And I had a good time with it. Then on Friday, we will be doing our TNA post show where we will be reviewing another episode of TNA. Will this week be any better? Well, stay tuned and find out. And then while we are not doing a watch along, you bet your bottom dollar that Kilt and I are going to be spending the weekend watching Vengeance Day to prepare ourselves for next week's post show. Because then it's all roads lead to Stand and Deliver. But thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. Me and Kilt are going to talk for a brief moment, and then we got our own stuff we got to take care of. But until tomorrow evening, from all of us here to you at home for Reese WrestlePod, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We will catch you tomorrow night for our AEW post show. But until then, sayonara, adios, and until next time, peace